In this video, we'll talk about the differences between Solid Edge and SOLIDWORKS when it comes to the general interface workflow. We're starting here from the default page that Solid Edge comes up in. Let's create now a new part document. Notice that the new part has come up in synchronous mode. There is a separate video that covers the differences between synchronous and ordered modeling. To change mode as a one-time change, right-click on the synchronous or ordered header in the Pathfinder and select Transition to either ordered or synchronous. If you want ordered to come up by default, go to Options, Helpers, and make sure that this setting, Start Part and Sheet Metal Documents using this environment, is set the way you want it. The next part you start will come up in your preferred mode. The workflow of creating planes, sketches, and features is also very different between SOLIDWORKS and Solid Edge. And even within Solid Edge, creating extruded features and sketches in ordered or synchronous can be a very different workflow. In synchronous, when sketching, you should start by locking the sketch to a particular plane. You can use F3 or the lock symbol to do this. If you don't do this and the cursor moves over another plane, you could automatically start sketching on a different plane. This takes some getting used to. For example, if you initiate the circle command and move your cursor over plane 1 without locking it as the sketch plane and start sketching, the circle will be on plane 1. If you then switch to a rectangle and move your cursor over plane 2, the rectangle will be on plane 2. The circle and rectangle will be kept in different sketches. All the sketches are always active. This part of the sketch interface often confuses SOLIDWORKS users. Region selection can be an enclosed area of a sketch or a model face, and when you go to extrude something or revolve it, you do that by selecting an enclosed region. The simplest way to sketch in synchronous is to 1. Use the box tool, click, sketch rectangle, and then extrude the box. For add or subtract extrude, draw your sketch first, then select the region, and then pull the steering wheel. For a revolve, sketch the shape, and then draw a revolve line. Select the region, drag the steering wheel to the revolve line, and pull on the torus to do the revolve. Any sketch elements on the same plane are combined into a single sketch listed in the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder is Solid Edge's equivalent of the feature manager. If a synchronous sketch is used to create a feature, that sketch is moved to a used sketches collector, like a feature manager folder. Synchronous mode does not make use of the sketch or sketch plane after the feature is created. Refer to the video on synchronous versus ordered to see more details on how this works. Sketching in ordered mode is more similar to SOLIDWORKS. The way Solid Edge intends for you to create an ordered feature is by walking you through the steps in the command bar. And the command bar is like SOLIDWORKS Property Manager. I'm going to demonstrate the relationship between planes, sketches, and features by demonstrating 3 different techniques. The first technique is going to have the feature, the sketch, and the plane all rolled up in a single feature. The second technique will have all 3, the plane, the sketch, and the feature, as separate entries in the Pathfinder. And the third technique will be an intermediate sort of method where the plane and the sketch are created together and the extrusion or protrusion is a separate feature. So let's get started. The first technique, where all 3 are bunched together, I'll just click the extrude button and then I'll create a plane by using the parallel plane method. I'll select the YZ plane and pull that out at some distance, and then I'll start a sketch. Doesn't really matter what the sketch is. When I'm done with this sketch, I'll click on the green check mark and pull out some distance to finish the extrusion. Click Finish and Cancel. And now you see there is a single entry in the Pathfinder. If you expand the protrusion, you see the profile or the sketch is under there, but there is no plane. The plane is built as part of, collapse that, and now we'll use the other extreme, which creates each piece individually. So we'll start by creating a plane, and we'll just use the parallel method, select an existing plane and pull it out a distance. Now we're done with the plane that's created and in the Pathfinder. Next, we'll create a rectangle sketch, and we'll select this existing plane that was created parallel, draw the rectangle, click the green check, click Finish, and Cancel. And now you see the sketch is added to the Pathfinder. Now, a minor point here to make is that when the sketch is created as part of a feature, it's called a profile, and when it's just created as a sketch on its own, it's called a sketch. From here, we can now use the extrude feature, and in the sketch step here, we'll say select from existing sketch, right-click to accept that selection, and pull out a distance, finish, and cancel. You see that the sketch and the protrusion are here separately, and also the plane. So we've got 3 separate features where before we only had 1. Next, let's use this intermediate method. I'm not going to create a plane on its own. I'll just start the line command. The sketch naturally wants to know where I'm going to put this line. So I'll tell it I'm going to put it on a parallel plane. Parallel to what? Parallel to this existing plane. And here's the offset. And now I can draw my line and click the green check to say I'm done with the sketch, and click on Finish and Cancel. Notice now that only the sketch has been created in the Pathfinder. That's because the plane is actually created as a part of the sketch. From here, I can click on the Extrude button and use the method we used before. Select from Sketch, click on the triangle, right-click to accept, and drag out the distance. Finish and cancel. In the first instance, if we delete the protrusion, it deletes everything. That's obviously not what we want, but it also deleted the plane and the sketch. I'll press Ctrl-Z to get it all back. If I expand the protrusion and try to delete just the profile, Solid Edge gives me the message that the selected items could not be deleted because it's actually part of the protrusion feature. Now, the next 3 features in the list can be deleted individually. The protrusion can be deleted. Ctrl-Z to get it back. If I delete the sketch, it will naturally delete the protrusion, or at least give an error. Ctrl-Z to get that back. And if I click on the plane and delete that, then the other 2 features get the error, but they're still there. Ctrl-Z to get that back. Now with the protrusion that I created from the triangle, I can delete the feature itself and the sketch remains, Ctrl-Z, or I can delete the sketch and the protrusion just gets an error. You could edit the protrusion and select a different sketch. So there are 3 different methods that have 3 very different outcomes in Solid Edge. If you plan on reordering features, probably the first method is best. If you just like a very modular approach where you can edit and replace items, then probably the second method where you create everything individually is the best approach. And there's always a middle road if you want to be able to, say, reuse a sketch for something else. Here's a look at a part with both synchronous and ordered features. We have the synchronous features that were created first, and then the ordered features that were added. The ordered features in this case are a thin wall shell, the extruded text, and a couple of fillets. The synchronous features were the initial extrusion, and although synchronous doesn't keep track of a list of features, it does identify the features by the faces in the model that they're associated with. The lip around the inside has a feature name, and the original faces of the model also have a feature name. I can click on the synchronous to go back and work on the synchronous model. And let's move one of these faces. I'll just click on the face and move it. Now you notice that this is moving independently, but we could move it along with an existing face. If I click on this coplanar option in the design intent box, both of the original faces that are coplanar move together. And you can turn that off just as easily. When you switch back to ordered, everything catches up and the model is all shelled out. So this is how synchronous and ordered can work together. Solid Edge has some different concepts when it comes to working in assemblies. One such difference is the concept of peers. Peers are essentially other parts in an assembly when you are working in context, or interpart in Solid Edge, on a single part. Peers can relate to peer edge selection in assembly, peer variables, peer relationships, and so on. For example, when you are sketching on a part in an assembly, one of the selection options is for peer edge locate, which enables you to select edges from peer parts. Another difference in selection methods is in the priority in which items can be selected. In SOLIDWORKS assemblies, by default, when you're selecting something, priority is given to faces and edges, and to select a part, you have to right-click and select something from a list. In Solid Edge, the default selection priority is given to parts, but you can change that and set it to faces. Also, in SOLIDWORKS, when you have a quantity of a single part, the individual parts are called instances. In Solid Edge, the terminology for this is occurrences. SOLIDWORKS users will also find the terminology around mates, which Solid Edge calls relationships, a little bit different. Solid Edge Flash Fit is similar to the SOLIDWORKS Smart Mates. And all of the individual mate types are different, but should mostly be self-explanatory. So there are some very basic differences between the Solid Edge and SOLIDWORKS workflow that you probably should be aware of before getting too deep into a project. A little bit of practice is all it takes. Thanks for watching.